So you're thinking about living in Huntington Beach, but
Yes.
you know, Huntington Beach, it's actually a big city. It's rather large. Large swaths of it aren't even really that close to the beach.
Right, that's for sure too, yeah.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do in this video, we're going to, you know, actually show you, we're gonna do a full vlog tour of Huntington Beach, and we're gonna do it quite possibly on the worst day we could for weather.
Exactly.
Just because we wanna be real, you know, it's sunny here in Southern California.
About 300 days out of the year.
300 days out of the year.
But what's it like the other 60 days?
Yeah, what's it like the other 60 days? And like Sean was saying, for us locals, we actually like it better when it's like this because, you know, then it's not as crowded and you can enjoy the things that, you know, it would make tourists, you know, shy away from it.
Yeah, and let's be real, this is not cold. It looks cold, right? But
Yeah.
it actually is it's really pleasant. And on top of that, if you're actually playing sports or like having fun in Huntington Beach, actually this weather is fantastic because it's not blazing hot either. Now I will say that obviously the ding is that the views aren't quite as good.
Yes, for sure. But that's what we're gonna do right now, so stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? I'm Sean Dezahd.
And I'm Courtney Dezahd, and we're with Keller Williams Realty right here in Orange County, California. And if you want to know everything there is to know about what it's like to live here, you know, the good and the bad, the real, don't forget to press on our subscribe button, and don't forget to press on the bell so that you're notified every time we upload a new video, because we upload new videos every week.
Yeah, and if you're watching this channel, you're probably thinking, wow, Sean, I love Orange County. I love the gloomy weather right now that we're having. I love the glitz, I love the glamour, and typically the beautiful weather. However, like, you know, what I will say is that, you know, but you don't know like what it's like. You don't know, like, you're not here, you're not close by, you're probably out of state or even out of the country. And I totally get that. That's why you want to reach out to us, so we can kind of have that conversation to figure out what makes sense for you. So what you want to do is you want to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.
Or you can reach out to us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back. Okay, so before we get started with the tour, we're just gonna walk down the pier real quick and just give you, you know, just a little overview. So what is Huntington Beach? Like, why would someone choose to live in Huntington Beach versus, I don't know, Irvine or something like that?
Now, in the name, like Huntington Beach is like, you know, full disclosure, it's a beach city. So it's got beach in the name. This is Surf City, USA. What's kind of cool about Huntington Beach is that it's actually a pretty good, like, large city in Orange County, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, so what you have, it's a population about 250,000, give or take, I think is the last I saw.
Yeah.
And what you have here is that you have beach living, you have crazy wide swaths of beach. I mean, this is legit beach. Like, and I go, you know, when I've gone to Hawaii, when I've gone to other places in the world, you see their beaches, you're like, oh wow, like that's, you know, people go, these beaches are amazing. I'm like, yeah, we're from Orange County. We have some pretty solid beaches, and honestly, I don't know how many beaches are this wide and offer the surf, like everything that this place offers. So I just love Huntington Beach, and where we are at the pier right now. What's cool is that this is a nice starting off point, an off ramp, right? Because you're right here where all the action is. Like you have, you know, your Main Street and basically Pacific Coast Highway.
Yes.
And to get to kind of anywhere is pretty easy. And you have Zolta too.
Yeah, Zolta.
So on this pier here, you have like gift shops, you know, and again, it kind of extends far out. You have surfers out in the distance already surfing. They're loving this. They're loving the weather. They're loving the surf going on here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, okay, so we're in October right now, which is weird because October, a lot of times, it is the hottest month of the year.
It gets pretty hot.
Usually I hate October
and
because
actually,
it's hot.
Yeah, and even like
really
Halloween, it's actually like blazing hot. I can't tell you how many Halloweens we've been to where it's just hot. And this is, it's actually been gloomy for several days. And again, it's actually a welcome relief. It's just not great for videos.
Yeah, well, and it's funny, I caught myself and said it's freezing cold because for a Southern California, it is, right?
Yeah, it's like 70.
What is it, 75?
I think it was 68, I think is what I saw.
So 68. So yeah, for us, so it's October 68. A lot of times in October, it'll be like 100.
Like at least, definitely at least in the 80s.
Yeah, but I don't know. Sometimes October's the worst. Yeah. But anyways, for whatever reason, it's not, it's very gloomy right now, but we're loving it, so.
Yeah, and actually, like, the locals actually really prefer, I'll say this weather more than anything, just because it's not as touristy, not as many people are like, because they go, oh no, it's overcast, so it must be freezing. And it's really not. It's actually rather pleasant.
Well, because I love to run too, so this is perfect running weather.
Yes, for sure. And then also, as far as like Huntington Beach, what you kind of have here is a little mix of everything, because it's a good-sized city. So you have, obviously, you have your beach stuff, right? You have your beach shacks. You have your nice, like good-sized homes here. But on top of that, you go a little bit farther inland, because Huntington Beach kind of extends on pretty much all the way out to the 405 freeway. So when you have that, You also have these homes that are built like, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, like ranch style homes, kind of like, more humble type homes, but great places. And I will say that according to niche.com, the schools here, the Huntington Beach School District is actually really solid.
Yeah, there's lots of very highly ranked schools in Huntington Beach for sure if you look on the ranking sites. So here we are on the Bolsa Chica Wetlands, a very important ecological reserve right here in Huntington Beach. It's home to lots of endangered wildlife. Obviously, it's very important for, how clean the ocean is.
So, also the migration pattern for birds and stuff.
Yeah, so it's just it's quite large. It's like 1,000 acres or something like that.
This is some prime land. We should develop this land. Just kidding. No, honestly, what's great is that this, obviously, this is an absolutely necessary part of the ecology of Southern California, like in the migration patterns of natural wildlife here. And what's cool is that it's right next to the beach. So you have this strip, the beach is just right across Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah, and I don't know, you probably can't see but there's a lot of people like to walk around, just along the pathways in the reserve. It's very peaceful out here.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of homes that actually line this thing on the edges, where it's kind of nice because, they can just partake in the natural beauty that Southern California has, and then of course from there you actually have, they have some of these homes can have some views. They don't feel like they have that many neighbors because one whole side is just completely open. So actually with Huntington Beach, you actually have a few things. You have a boardwalk, but as well as you have just a stretch of Pacific Coast Highway where this is really popular because it's relatively flat. I mean, it's actually, it's flat and just fantastic. You see so many cyclists actually going down this highway here. So here we are, we're in Huntington Harbor. This is a really cool spot because this is one of the only areas in Orange County that you can actually dock a boat. So if you're into the marine life, there are like three that come to mind, right? There's Dana Point Harbor, there's Newport Harbor, and Huntington Harbor. And Huntington Harbor is the northernmost portion of Huntington Beach. It's the most northwestern spot. Beyond that is Seal Beach itself. And within Huntington Harbor, there's about, I think, 4 islands, if I'm not mistaken. Davenport Island being one of them, and this is a really cool island, living where beautiful homes right on the harbor. I mean, obviously you have ones that aren't just on the harbor. There's ones that are inland a little bit, but a really cool area. Now I will say, Huntington Harbor is great. It is on the higher end of the pricing spectrum, so you get to kind of fit your budget accordingly. And I also will say that if you're looking for land, big yard and stuff, whenever you have proximity to water in general in Orange County, the land that you have shrinks. And so if you're looking for a big yard, Huntington Harbor is probably not the right place for you. As far as the homes in Huntington Harbor, it ranges all over the place. You have condos, you have townhomes, and then you have houses of all different sizes.
And for anyone who needs to be that much closer to Los Angeles, Huntington Harbor is pretty close to the LA County border line, and because you're right by the PCH, that makes it that much easier to get into LA County without having to deal with the horrific freeways. So we just passed by the Huntington Club, which is a country club very close to Huntington Harbor, Bolsa Chica State Park. And it's one of the few places that a big golf course here in Huntington Beach.
So here we're actually in the Seacliff area in Huntington Beach, and what's awesome about Seacliff is that I like it because it gives you a mix, right? So you have some newer construction stuff, some gated communities within here, and then you just have properties that aren't gated communities that actually these homes are pretty good size and actually offer a decent plot of land. Again, we're not talking about acres here. We're talking about properties that are again offer a 3-car garage, for instance, nice sized backyard. But again, it's whenever you're dealing with coastal cities, it kind of gets a little bit tricky as far as finding, a nice, nice sized lot. Okay, so here we are. We're in Central Park in Huntington Beach. This park is pretty awesome, I must say. There's a few large parks within Orange County, especially near, kind of where everything is, right? Where all the hustle and bustle are. Things that come to mind are, Huntington Beach Mile Square Park. Fountain Valley's Mile Square Park. The Great Park in Irvine,
yeah.
And then this one. These really are ones that kind of come to mind as far as park. What do you think about parks, basically?
Yeah.
And this is actually about half a square mile, 344 acres, I think, technically. But it offers such a punch as far as there's so many activities here, which is pretty awesome. So you have tons of sports fields. You have equestrian spots, you have disc golf. You have the Central Park Library, which is one of the largest children's libraries like west of the Mississippi.
I think it is the largest.
Oh yeah, I think it may just be the largest. They have botanical garden. I mean, what's cool too is that
sports fields too, tons of sports fields.
Tons of sports fields. So,
yes.
And then it's again just like to walk, like the nature path walking is just really cool to partake. And this area, what I love about it is that it's about, I don't know, about like a mile away from the beach. So you're super close to the beach. You know, Golden West is kind of one of the major roads that runs right through here. I would say like I kind of like this park almost just because of everything it offers.
Yeah.
A bit more than any of the other parks actually.
Yeah, it seems like it has more stuff. I don't know why.
And the flow. I mean, I like the flow of the place kind of makes sense. It's not so disjointed because, you know, as much as, you know, like, you know, for instance, in Irvine, you know, like the Great Park there, it just feels like it's kind of chopped up because there's all these actual designated fields and I don't know. I mean, again, great. It's a beautiful park. I just like this because it's hard to find again this size of a park offering this much stuff this close to the ocean. So here we are. We're in downtown Huntington Beach. Love this area. It's really cool. You have a mix of things. You have condos, townhomes. You have houses. Now I will say these houses here. They're pretty vertical. There's not much land here, so just be aware that, you know, anytime you're near the beach, right, land is at a premium, and so they go up, they're like going to go up to 3 stories, so you can still get some nice size homes, you know, up to like about 4,000 square feet. So it can be pretty sizable homes, but they're on a really small footprint. I mean, they're, you know, you're going up 3 stories. Pretty much the entire lot is like your foundation, right? So that's kind of, just have that in mind. So if you're looking for a yard, the beach is your yard, that's what you're gonna have to deal with. Now, having said that, well, I'll say about Huntington Beach, as a general idea, there's very few properties that are actually on the beach of Huntington Beach because it's state beach here. So there's not much there. So what you do, if you're like looking for, you know, that like getting really close to the water, really the closest you're gonna get most likely is right next to Pacific Coast Highway. So what you have is the beach, you have the boardwalk, you have Pacific Coast Highway, and then you have these like a line of homes that actually are, you know, have fantastic panoramic ocean views, but that's about as close to the ocean as you're going to be getting in Huntington Beach at least.
Yeah, and what's nice about downtown Huntington Beach, you are right next to the pier, which, you know, if you're looking for nightlife, the Huntington Beach Pier does have that, you know, for Orange County nightlife, right? This is not New York City nightlife, but it is for Orange County. And then, speaking of New York City, how Sean was mentioning how the homes here, they're very vertical. It does kind of remind me a little bit of like brownstones in New York City. And then just random aside, there are these cute little, they look like little Victorian homes. There's like 4 of them. I always like to look at them whenever I'm in this part of Huntington Beach.
And actually, that according to just brought up a thought in my mind. Like basically, as far as these homes here, they're built in all different times because you know, you'll have some homes that are built that are pretty old, like built, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s, you know, and they're like kind of little beach shacks. Then over time, those have been demoed, you know, and then you've kind of built. And so there's actually some pretty new construction. Again, they're more one-offs, right? Because again, people would buy a lot with a, you know, old home in it, just, you know, tear it down and then build up, basically.
And now that we are right by the pier, we're actually just passing Pacific City, which is I wouldn't really call it a mall. I mean, it's kind of small. It's pretty small. But it's like, it's got, you know, shops, restaurants, that kind of stuff. H&M. It's a cute little place to go right across. So we're on Pacific Coast Highway. So it's on the, you know, the side that's not on the beach. Yeah, but it's literally like right by the beach. And as we walk towards Main Street, there are some oil rigs behind me. And yeah, that's how you know you're in Huntington Beach, because you see the oil rigs, you know, every once in a while. And they're also out in the ocean as well.
Okay, so here we're on Main Street in Huntington Beach. This place is pretty awesome because you're right where Main Street and Pacific Coast Highway more or less intersect. Huge, you know, this is like where this is like where the nightlife is in Orange County. Not because we don't have a ton of it here, and this is one of the few pockets that has a lot of that going on. And you have shopping here. You have these huge surf shops like, you know, Huntington Surf and Sport and Jack surf shops. So
yes, because Huntington Beach is Surf City, USA, of course.
Yes, exactly. And then right across you have the pier. And also what I love about, you know, Main Street is that it used to be a thing where like it was just that you would drive right through. And because of the whole pandemic, like they actually had a lot of outdoor dining and that kind of stuff. And so they blocked off part of Main Street for that more like almost a European kind of like cafe kind of thing going, where you're sitting outdoors, and they still have kept that going. So you have a lot of the main street that still offers that whole cafe kind of outdoor dining kind of thing.
So here we are in I would just call this a typical Huntington Beach neighborhood. Like we were mentioning earlier in the video, Huntington Beach is a rather large city, and there's just large swaths of it that go all the way until the 405 freeway. And we can't show you every neighborhood because it would honestly make the video extremely boring, because we'd just be showing you neighborhood after neighborhood that looks the same. So we're going to show you a little bit right now, and I'll let just Sean talk about it as well. But yeah, Huntington Beach, it's a lot of, I would call it suburbia.
Yes.
And it's kind of just like suburbia. That's what it is. We're going to show you some suburbia right now.
Yeah, so for instance, this neighborhood is Franciscan Fountains by the Sea. This is just some, like some tract of homes, like, again, built, built in the 70s, more or less. Some homes have been updated over the years, of course. Nice sized homes, good sized lots. You're just your typical suburban sprawl, and this is like in the southern corner of Huntington Beach. So you're really close to Newport Beach at this point, as far as where the Santa Ana River kind of divides the two. But yeah, just a cool, nice little neighborhood, and yeah, this is just kind of showing you guys a little bit of that.
And here we are in yet another neighborhood in Huntington Beach that kind of looks like all the other neighborhoods as you go towards the 405. And it's interesting, even when you're in Huntington Beach, because it in many parts of Huntington Beach borders Fountain Valley. So it's interesting because a lot of times I have a hard time telling the difference. I'm like, oh, am I in Fountain Valley? Am I in Huntington Beach? Because a lot of the architecture is the same. It just kind of all looks the same. So yeah, we're not going to show you every little thing, because we would literally be showing you just a bunch of boring footage of a bunch of houses that all look the same. So that's it. That's our video.
Now remember, we are licensed realtors in the state of California, so as much as we love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, what you want to do is you want to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.